Hey guys, Gary Mitchell here. So with Black Panther crushing it at the box office right now and Infinity War only a few weeks away, I thought it would be fun to do a top 10 countdown of my favorite comic book / superhero movies of all time. First, a couple of ground rules. These are not necessarily what I think are the best comic book / superhero movies. These are just my favorites. Movies that I can watch over and over again or are personally meaningful to me in some way. Secondly, I'm limiting myself to only one movie per franchise because otherwise half of these would probably be XMen movies. So with that, let's dive right in. Starting off with the old school, my number 10 pick is Superman 2, starring Christopher Reeves. You could argue that none of the other movies on this list would even exist without the classic Superman movie directed by Richard Donner. But the sequel, Superman 2, is the one that resonates most with me. Bumbling reporter Clark Kent just can't help himself and finally reveals his true identity to Lois Lane. Clark gives up his powers and being Superman to settle down with Lois and almost immediately realizes
I've made a huge mistake.
Because of course that's when three evil Kryptonians show up, led by Terrence Stamp as the one true General Zod, who manages to conquer the entire planet in like 3 days. Though it's so old school now, it's basically a period piece. This movie taught me that no matter what you want or what it costs, you don't get to mess with your calling. If you have a purpose, a reason why you're here in the world, you don't trade that for anything, because your calling is not about you. And over the years playing music and doing ministry, that's a lesson that I've had to come back to numerous times. But as much as I love this movie, there's 9 other films on this list that are just way better movies. That may or may not include my number 9 pick, which just happens to be Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Oh yeah, bet you didn't see that coming. Yep, you may not know this, but not only do the Ninja Turtles qualify as superheroes, they actually started out as a comic book from Mirage Comics. And when I was a kid, I had Ninja Turtle everything. And I've watched this movie so many times that I could literally say the entire movie to you right now, line for line. You guys know the story. 4 mutant turtles rise up to battle a New York crime wave, protecting reporter April O'Neil from the evil Foot Clan led by the Shredder. It's cheesy and goofy and so 90s, and I just love it so much. Don't judge me. And that theme song though, killer.
The half shell, they're the heroes for. In this day and age, who could ask for more?
At number 8, we've got Hellboy, an incredibly solid adaptation of the Hellboy comic books. Ron Perlman is perfectly cast as Hellboy, an urban legend X-File type creature working for a secret organization that protects the world from other urban legend X-File type threats. The characters are unique and charming, the setting is dark and engrossing, and the movie is just so wonderfully weird. All this combines with an engaging plot and just the right touch of humor to make this movie a ton of fun. If you haven't seen Hellboy yet, definitely check it out. Just maybe make sure the kids are in bed first, because some of that mess is dark. Coming in at number 7 is the first heavy hitter on this list, The Dark Knight, the greatest Batman movie ever made. The Dark Knight is the sweet spot of director Christopher Nolan's Batman trilogy. A brooding and intense Christian Bale perfectly brings Bruce Wayne to life as he faces off against the greatest comic book villain in cinematic history. The Joker, played by the late Heath Ledger, is brilliant, unpredictable, genuinely funny, and dangerous as hell. And the clash of ideas, the film's raw intensity, and a brief but tragic origin of Harvey Dent, aka Two-Face, all combines to make The Dark Knight not only the Batman movie we need, but the Batman movie that fans deserve.
Here's my card.
And coming in right underneath Batman is another filthy rich, super smart, shadowy Avenger with high-tech gadgets that also just happens to be a king. That's right, number 6 is Black Panther, the movie everybody's talking about, because it's nothing short of revolutionary. Featuring easily the largest black cast in any superhero movie, Black Panther is the story of King T'Challa, the newly crowned ruler of Wakanda, whose stability is thrown into turmoil when an enemy abandoned by the country's isolation shows up to claim the throne. Entertaining, powerfully moving, and original in so many ways, this movie also masterfully addresses what it means to be black in modern times, and is a major step forward in so many ways. It's just, I could gush about this movie for like 10 minutes, but if you really want to see that, make sure you watch my full Black Panther review. As much as I love this movie, because it's still so new, and because to my shame, as of right now, I've only been able to see the movie one time, I don't think I can place it any higher on this list just yet. So for now, Black Panther is just narrowly edged out of the top 5 by the leading lady on this list. But real quick, before we get into the top 5, if you like this video, please don't forget to subscribe and have a look around my channel for stuff like my Hero Song Remix, where I play crazy music mashups of classic superhero theme songs. Or browse through my Geek Theology series, where I dig deep into stuff like The Walking Dead, Game of Thrones, and Naruto, and then I write songs about them because that's how we roll. There's tons of great stuff to check out, and I post new videos every single weekend, so don't forget to subscribe. And now, my top 5 favorite superhero / comic book movies. Who would have guessed that a Wonder Woman movie would show up so strong at the box office? Answer, I did. We did. The fans did. Comic book fans have known for decades what a complex and powerhouse character Wonder Woman is. The problem is a lot of movie studios just weren't ready to take a chance on a female-led superhero movie. But all that changed the day Diana of Themyscira showed up, perfectly embodied by the gorgeous and captivating Israeli model Gal Gadot. The princess of a mythical island of hardcore warrior women, Diana is called into the modern world to take on the actual god of war and save mankind from itself. I've been a Wonder Woman fan most of my life, and Gal Gadot, along with director Patty Jenkins, brought that character to life better than I ever could have hoped. Though the film doesn't quite stick the landing at the end, a strong supporting cast and an inspiring message about love and perseverance is enough to hold this film together.
You're wrong about them. They're everything you say, but so much more.
I had a really hard time sifting through all of the X-Men movies to pick just one for this list. And though Days of Future Past and X-Men First Class would have been respectable choices, once again, I gotta show respect to the old school, so I'm going with X2, XMen United. The first X-Men movie did a great job of grounding the mutant mythology in reality, but the sequel dialed everything up to 11, especially portraying the X-Men struggle for acceptance in a world that hates and fears them. What I love about this movie is how it works on a generational level. You've got the interaction and history between the older, veteran mutant leaders, Professor X and Magneto. Then you've got Wolverine searching to uncover his past alongside Jean and Storm. And then you've got the youngins, Iceman, Rogue, and Pyro, representing the next generation of mutants. This was also the first time we got to see Wolverine go full-on berserker rage, Jean Grey sacrificing herself to save everyone, seeing the Phoenix image hovering over the water right before the credits rolled. And there was one other thing about this movie I liked, but I can't remember what the— oh yeah, Nightcrawler! If you open your X-Men movie with a mind-blowing scene with Nightcrawler breaking into the White House thrashing Secret Service, you're doing it right. There's a lot to love in the X-Men movie franchise, but for sheer entertainment value, hard-hitting action, and the most authentic dive into the X-Men universe you could ask for, this movie has it all. And my number 3 pick might surprise you, but I stand by this choice 100%. And that movie is The Incredibles from Disney Pixar. This is the perfect movie. Anybody who tells you there's no such thing as the perfect movie, those people are wrong. Okay? And stupid and ugly and smell bad. Don't listen to them. The Incredibles, an original story by director Brad Bird, tells the story of Bob Parr, aka Mr. Incredible, a once famous superhero forced into retirement, now drowning in the mundane drudgery of civilian life, until he's approached by a mysterious benefactor who coaxes him back into secret superheroing. Eventually, Mrs. Parr, also a former superhero, finds out what her husband's been up to, and her and the kids all get sucked into the adventure. The Incredibles is not only a joyful homage to all the classic superhero lore that fans like me love, but it has some real things to say about mediocrity or dumbing yourself down just to fit in. And, like I said, it's the perfect movie. The long-awaited sequel to this movie is coming soon, and part of me can't wait to see it, but the other part of me doesn't even want to see it, because after 14 years, there's almost no way that a second movie can live up to the first one.
Honey, where's my super suit?
Why do you need to know?
We're down to the final two, so let's not waste any time. Of all the amazing movies that Marvel Studios has given us in the last decade, for depth of drama, sheer spectacle, and action ripped right off a comic book page, none of them can compete with Captain America Civil War. I can't believe this movie even exists. The original Civil War story from Marvel Comics was one of the most jaw-dropping stories in comic history, and Marvel fans lost their minds when this movie adaptation was announced. After a deadly and very public mistake, the Avengers, led by Captain America, are forced to go rogue after the governments of the world crack down on their avenging. Eventually, Tony Stark is forced to put together a new team of Avengers to apprehend the old one. The action is insane. The characters are all spot on. The sheer number of heroes involved is staggering. And the second act airport battle is everything a comic book fan could ever want out of life. But it's the conflict between the characters and the breakdown of friendships that Marvel has spent numerous movies building, ending in a climactic fistfight that really hurts to watch. With the exception of the upcoming Infinity War, I can't think of a comic book movie that could ever hit as hard on such an epic scale as this one. But Civil War is my number 2 pick. And even though I admit that it might be a better movie than my first choice, like I said earlier, this is a list of my favorite superhero movies. And because of that, there is only one film that could ultimately claim the top spot. And that movie is Batman v Superman, Dawn of No, I'm sorry. I'm kidding. I couldn't resist. No. Just no. What Marvel has accomplished with their cinematic universe can never be overstated. The fact that they started from a single movie and steadily built into a larger shared universe is historic and miraculous. And if you don't believe that, just look at the number of other franchises that have tried to copy them and failed. And because of that, Marvel's The Avengers, the culmination of their phase 1 of films, is my favorite superhero movie of all time. Growing up a comic book nerd, there are certain things that you just never believe you'll actually get to see. And sitting there that night in the theater, watching the Avengers assemble for the first time on the big screen, in a theater packed with sweaty mega nerds just like me, was the greatest movie-going experience of my entire life. Nerd demigod Joss Whedon masterfully commands the perfectly cast ensemble of actors. The movie is so much fun, action-packed and nearly perfectly paced, with Whedon's trademark dialogue and first-time conversations between heroes, who get off to a pretty rocky start, but then come together to beat what is to this day the standard of cinematic comic book villain that all others are judged by. I mean, you've got Iron Man and Thor wailing on each other. You've got Black Widow, a hardened veteran spy, losing her mind the first time she sees the Hulk. You got Phil Coulson taking one for the team. You got Hawkeye and Black Widow with no power, showing you exactly why they still belong on that team. Captain America finally coming into his own, the Hulk being menacing and dangerous and somehow still hilarious. And like 20 minutes at the end of the Avengers just rocking out against an alien invasion. This movie is fan-freaking-tastic. Getting to see this movie at all is a dream come true. But watching it on opening night with a whole theater of lifelong comic nerds just like me that I didn't even know, and we're laughing together and crying together and jumping up and cheering together at the end, and then freaking Thanos shows up. Are you kidding me? The best cinematic experience of my entire life. Easy. And that's why no matter what else Marvel gives us or where the genre goes from here, nothing will ever be as cool as seeing all of those characters together on screen for the first time. And that's why Marvel's The Avengers is my number 1 favorite superhero movie of all time. So the question is, what do you think about this list? Is it terrible? Am I crazy? Or what would your top 10 favorite list be? Let me know in the comments down below. And hey, if you like this video and you want me to do more like it, maybe a top 10 favorite superhero TV shows, favorite video games, favorite anime, favorite Disney movies, whatever. Whatever you think, whatever you guys want, let me know down in the comments below. And don't forget to check out a few other videos on my channel like my Hero Song Remix or my Geek Theology series. Send your favorite link to a few friends and don't forget to subscribe. I'm Gary Mitchell and we will see you next time. Stay cool, stay blessed, stay in touch.